Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 14 has just released, and this chapter is starting up and perfectly setting up the next arc to come, as things are wrapping up in the Leaf Village. However, this is just the beginning, as the Leaf Village isn't the only target of the Shinju, as we now have interesting developments taking place in other villages, as the Land of Wind, the Village of the Sand, has been attacked, and 2 members have been injured, one being Gaara and the other being Shinki. But that's not where this chapter starts off, and before we even talk about where this chapter starts off, let's talk about the cover. This cover is absolutely perfect. We have Kashin Koji, who has had a character redesign now that he no longer has a mask, and his outfit, his hood, is a little bit different than the one he had before. I love the background. This chapter cover is a 9 out of 10 to me. But now let's go on to the chapter itself, where we have a Boruto who is placed in a room where he's going to be interrogated. We have Ibiki who is there, and we have a Konohamaru with a Boruto who has just woken up after going unconscious from Jura's shots. Konohamaru says, "It seems like you have noticed the cuffs that are placed under your hands." Konohamaru then goes on to explain exactly what those new cuffs are actually doing. These handcuffs have been developed by Amado in a way that would prevent anybody who is placed under these cuffs from using any sort of ninjutsu. Konohamaru tells Boruto that he shouldn't even think about doing it, as the thought of him even trying to escape would be one that would be utterly useless because he can't weave any sorts of ninjutsu. But Boruto doesn't answer to that. He asks the question of if everybody is safe, as he fell unconscious, but he was still able to bring Himawari to safety and prevent Sarada from getting eaten by Hidari. We have a Konohamaru who explains that the Shinju are gone. Jura and Hidari are gone, with Jura who collected Hidari's torn soul, and we saw that Hidari was brought back to life. We go back to checking on one of those people that we didn't really understand if he was safe or not, and that person is Inogen, as we have a Sakura who says that everything that she is seeing regarding Inogen's condition, especially due to the fact that Inogen was literally impaled, is absolutely amazing. Everything regarding the state of his being is quite well. However, his chakra flow has not been restored, and that already shows us the limitations of Himawari when it comes to using her healing ability onto other people. As yes, we do see that Inogen is actually alive. However, without his chakra flow being restored, he would never end up waking up and would be in a coma indefinitely. That's where Sakura, who does end up having more of an expertise when it comes to healing, she is the one that does so and will allow Inogen to actually come back and be an operating ninja. What I find even more interesting is the fact that we have a separation that is being created from Himawari, who just has these crazy broken abilities and is able to do these broken things. However, there are still layers and parts of healing that she simply doesn't come to understand, and maybe Sakura could end up being Himawari's teacher. Himawari has already performed healing feats, and she still has a long way to go if she actually wants to be a good healer. So Sakura, if she does end up going down the path of healing, she could end up being coached by Sakura, who ends up teaching her various ways of improving her healing ability. And with us knowing that Sarada, at least in the anime, when it comes to medical ninjutsu, she really isn't the best at it, then I truly do believe that if Sarada isn't the one to be the healer, then we would have Himawari be the new healer and the best healer of this current generation, using not only her Nine Tails power, but the abilities and techniques she must have learned from Sakura if she ends up going down that path. And I find it pretty interesting. We have a Ino who is just happy to see that Inogen is back, but we can see the world, we can see the confusion because a lot of things are happening in quick succession. She was just talking to Shikamaru about Boruto and what exactly is to do with Boruto, and a few instances later she comes to find out that her son was impaled through the stomach and almost turned into a donut. But now we go back to the interrogation of Boruto, where we have a Boruto who has his hands behind his back, and we have various people who are listening on the conversation. In that building, there is Konohamaru and Ibiki, and I also believe that Amato is there. While outside of the building, we have Shikamaru, and we also have the two elders who are paying attention to everything that is going on. And we have Kawaki, who is being informed about everything that is happening by Ada, and Damien, who is listening. And we got a Damien who just got to play devil's advocate and tell Kawaki the cold hard truth. And that is the fact that maybe people are going to figure out everything that is going on. And Damien is trying to make Kawaki worried. But Kawaki, he seems confident in everything that is going on. I don't know if this is confidence from ignorance or this is confidence from just understanding his current predicament and knowing that there is no going back, especially after he lied and accused Boruto of killing the Hokage. And that's the point that he makes clear to Damien, that nothing will end up changing. He is a danger because of Momoshiki, and this could be treated as some sort of foreshadowing. A lot of people are saying no, Boruto mastered his karma, or that Momoshiki cannot take control of Boruto's body. The fact that Momoshiki is still in Boruto is being made clear almost every single chapter, and the possibility of his return, just due to the fact that we didn't see it take place so early, means that when Momoshiki does end up coming back into the series, it will be something absolutely phenomenal. And just like he popped up out of nowhere and took my boy Sasuke's Rinnegan, I do believe him to pop in at the worst moment and ruin all of Boruto's plans. And with the information we get to see about how omnipotence is affecting characters in the series, there is a possibility of something happening that most people will view as even more significant than omnipotence, or even more transforming for Boruto's character as omnipotence. But I will save that for another video. But Kawaki is reassured by the fact that sooner or later, Momoshiki is going to pop up and take control of Boruto. But before he does that, he has to be the one to kill Boruto. So in his mind, he's thinking, after this interrogation, yeah, I'll go there and take care of Boruto real quick and we'll call it a day. That's what Kawaki is thinking at the time. He's like, yo, Boruto's gonna spill everything. It's cool. We're just gonna kill him, and then omnipotence will take place and take care of everything. It's fine. That's what Kawaki is thinking at the moment. But now we go back to the interrogation yet again, where we have a Boruto who's explaining exactly what the Shinju are to Konohamaru and Amato. They're listening to the conversation that Boruto is having to Konohamaru, and Amato is popping in. One of my biggest questions was, what is Amato's reaction going to be like when he hears about the Shinju? But Amato is pretty calm. Amato doesn't fear too much when it comes to the Shinju, and that's pretty scary in my own personal opinion. We have a Jiro who almost killed Boruto, a Jiro who packed up Kawaki and dealt with Delta. Delta didn't even fight, she just watched because she knew she was outclassed. However, Amato shows no fear. And this is very concerning because when Kawaki was about to get put down and omnipotence ended up taking place, Amato was scared. If you saw some of the panels regarding Amato, you would see that it doesn't resemble the Amato that we usually see. However, this time it is quite different. And the best thing that all of this reminds me of is the Code arc. When Kawaki ended up going to Code, it was almost as if Amato already knew that this was going to be a likely scenario, and thus he wasn't scared, but he was just relying on the fact that Kawaki would want the karma during that fight and thus reactivate his karma. And this is a similar demeanor that Amato has right now. Maybe it's not in specific to Kawaki, but with us learning that in multiple different futures, Kawaki ends up being eaten by the Shinju, why is Amato so calm in this future? And this is something that we'll just have to wait and see. But Amato just keeps looking more suspicious to me as time continues to pass. Because in this conversation, multiple times when Boruto is explaining, we have an Amato who adds, yeah, the Shinju are like this because of these different things that are happening right now. And a clear example of this is when Boruto is explaining the awareness of the Shinju. Then we have an Amato who adds that now they are no longer going off instinct, but now they are going off their desire for more information. and that information is known to us as experience, because there's various things you can learn. Jiraiya started off by reading books, but you're not going to learn everything simply through books. You're going to have to experience things. So it must mean that Jiraiya and the rest of the Shinju are trying to experience, and it appears like they, by eating other people, can take the knowledge and experiences that those people have, which is even more fascinating. Just by having Amado confirm some of these things about the Shinju really makes me kind of curious on how exactly he has that much access about the Shinju that we know little to nothing about truly. But we have a Boruto who, yet again, chapter after chapter, I think today is going to put a stop to everything. We have a confirmation. He is not like the others. He is one of his own class. He did not come from a prototype like Old Man Sasuke or Moegi Sensei. He is the incarnation of the Ten Tails. There has been so many instances where I've said this, but people in the comments tell me it's Jigen. So let's finally put it out there. This is not Jigen, this is not Gaara, this is not Ishiki, this is the incarnation of the Ten Tails itself. And that's why it appears like, from the translation that I'm reading, the translations that I have are fan-made translations because I won't be available again Friday for the official drop. However, if these translations are accurate, by simply defeating Jiraiya, which is the remnant of the Ten Tails due to him being the incarnation of the Ten Tails, then they would be able to deal with everything. However, Jiraiya is the strongest, so I don't know how Boruto is going to do it at the current moment, especially with what we've seen take place. But Konohamaru is asking the right questions. How does Boruto know so much information? Where did he get it from? And Boruto kind of reveals who that is and how that is. He tells them that there is a person who knows this and told this to him, but he doesn't want his identity to be revealed. And just looking at that, if you look at the paneling, look at Amado, ... Why are they showing us Amado when we mention that person? Does Amado know the various abilities that each of them are supposed to awaken? By giving Kashin Koji some of Shibai's cells, was Amado planning on having Kashin Koji awaken a certain type of ability over another? This is something that is quite interesting, and just reading this chapter, a lot of people feel like this chapter is almost like a recap chapter, but it is not. These are the types of chapters that require actual reading comprehension, because it's not just straight fighting. It's not just straight Jiraiya fighting Boruto and Boruto getting his soul thorn. This is a lot more deeper. We're getting into politics, we're getting into science regarding Amado and the Shinju, and we're also getting into more information about omnipotence and its effects on others. But most importantly, the characterization of the characters that we see with Boruto, Mitsuki, Shikamaru, Kawaki, especially in this chapter, we have a lot more understanding of who Boruto is as a character and who the rest of the characters in the series really are. So this chapter is absolutely needed for this new arc to truly set foot. Boruto continues to tell them that he won't be revealing exactly who he got his information from, which causes one of the elders to get quite mad because he believes that Boruto views himself in a position where he is invulnerable because of the information that he has. But the elder reminds him that, yo, okay, think whatever, we need the information, but at the end of the day, you are going to die whether you give us the information or not. This is made quite clear, and we have the other elder, the woman, who dives on deeper to this point by telling him that give us the information you know and we'll kill you at ease. And this is being made quite clear if it wasn't made clearer before, because we're currently seeing an attitude towards Boruto of pure hate. The hate that Boruto is dealing is pretty much equivalent to the hate that Naruto had, but for Naruto it was completely unjustified, but with Boruto it kind of is, due to everything that we have seen take place with omnipotence. And this is why when we see Boruto in this interrogation, he is not treated lightly at all, and some of the stuff that he is going through is quite hurtful and stems from pure hatred. But Boruto, just like he told to Shikamaru, he doesn't care. If this is how things are supposed to be, then that's fine, as long as this won't put Kawaki into the same situations which led to omnipotence, then he is perfectly fine with assuming all of that hate. This is great writing from Boruto, and this is so similar to Naruto, where he told everybody at the Pain arc to throw their hatred towards him as he would be the one capable of dealing with it. And this is what we're currently seeing with Boruto, which just increases my writing and my love for the character that Boruto is throughout the time skip. I'm really impressed. But with Shikamaru's conversation, we also come to learn about the personal problems that Shikamaru is going through, especially because of omnipotence. Because there's multiple times during this interrogation where Shikamaru felt as if he should be hating Boruto. But what he did is anchor his trust in Boruto due to the fact that Naruto is still alive. So because he believes that Naruto is alive, he can then trust Boruto. And why is that? Because of Kawaki's blunder in the fact that he ended up telling everybody that Boruto had killed Naruto. However, that was not involved in omnipotence. So whenever people are starting to question whether Boruto actually killed Naruto, they are able to do so without the restrictions of omnipotence, which is what Shikamaru is doing right now to trust and believe in Boruto. And this is absolutely crazy, and we're starting to see just how strong omnipotence truly is. But he is asked, what is the safe place that he is describing that Naruto and Hinata are at the current moment? But Boruto refuses to tell them any sort of information. And we low-key have a panel of Kawaki. We have a Kawaki who's probably like, damn bro, they're actually going to find out everything. Boruto is going to tell them everything. My time in the village might come to an end. However, Boruto says that he won't say anything more. The information that he has given them is the only information that they need. But Ibiki is tired, you know? Ibiki is tired of everything, and he's like, yo, okay, now we're going to get the real information. Now the interrogation has truly begun. Shikamaru is talking to Ino, and yet again, they are using a private line so that nobody knows. However, that's not really allowed, but Shikamaru is begging Ino to trust him in this sort of situation, as this is the only way they can do things. Ino ends up deciding to trust Shikamaru, and then we go back to Ibiki, who is behind Boruto. And this reminds me of a couple scenes I shouldn't have been watching, who's big all around Boruto. And he seems to be whispering something in Boruto's ear. Boruto is acting pretty nonchalant, and then just out of pure hatred, and I love seeing these type of moments, we have an Ibiki who slams Boruto's face on the table, and Boruto still refuses to talk. And he even fights back quite sarcastically when Ibiki says that he has been wanting to punch Boruto so bad over these past few years. However, Boruto's like, damn bro, you must be bored. I envy you, because Boruto has been grinding all throughout the time skip. And I just love these type of moments. I just love these type of moments from Boruto. He's getting beat down, punched, ramsackled, doing all sorts of animations on Boruto, but yet he still decides not to talk. And I love this for Boruto, man. I just love this for Boruto. There will be an analysis of Boruto, especially in the time skip, coming out this month. I'm going to be grinding this month, so don't even worry. I've just been busy with other things, but with just this chapter, it just motivates you to talk about Boruto. But then they are like, yo, Boruto's not the type to crack, and then we see a Shikamaru who is starting to plan out a plan. He has them call Mitsuki for so-called poison. So he's going to poison Boruto, maybe to get information out of him, or to put him in a state where he is easily influenced and thus will talk. We have an Ada who ends up going back to Kawaki, who's like, yo, what's going on, what he say? And Ida is like, yo, Boruto has no intention in telling anybody anything. And to be 100% honest, I don't know how I would feel if I was Kawaki. I'm going against a guy who's my so-called brother, but I removed that alliance because he was about to kill the person who I'm obsessed over, so now I decide that he is a threat and thus should be killed. But throughout this whole process, Boruto has been nothing but nice towards me. Boruto has been nothing but upfront and honest, while I've been a sly liar and doing all sorts of crazy things, and he has put in the perfect opportunity to rat me out. However, he doesn't do so and thus is beaten for it. This is quite interesting. I don't know how I would feel if I was Kawaki. However, we have a Shikamaru who guides Mitsuki into that room and lets Mitsuki in, where then Mitsuki ends up meeting face to face with Boruto, with Konohamaru, who's already warning him that, yo, relax, I know you're already mad at this dude, but don't let your anger take over. Then Boruto says something slick about Mitsuki's son, and Mitsuki activates Sage Mode. I love this panel. He activates Sage Mode and immediately is trying to fight Boruto. But that's what we thought. because we actually have a Mitsuki who gives Boruto the code so he can run away, and Mitsuki directs him to where his clothing is, with Boruto who ends up using Fly Raijin with one hand to leave. Konohamaru is kinda like, yo, how is that even possible? Only Shikamaru knows about the code and me, so how did he end up finding out how to unlock it? How did Boruto unlock it? This is pretty interesting to me because we have already started to see other people maybe start to believe that there is a spy inside out who is working with Boruto. Kawaki is starting to believe that Shikamaru is working with Boruto, and now we have a Konohamaru who also is starting to have that same thought. He's not saying that, yo, Shikamaru is working with Boruto, but he's saying, yo, there's somebody who's definitely working with Boruto to allow him to escape. And Kawaki, who will eventually find out that Boruto has made an escape, that will also be quite interesting when it comes to Shikamaru's placement as Hokage. Boruto ends up going to his scene, taking his clothes and leaving, but just telling them that, yo, it's not your fault, bro. This is just how things go when you're the strongest. This is how things go when you got the Flying Raijin, drip, and everything. So it doesn't matter, it's not your fault. The two elders are talking to Shikamaru and Konohamaru about everything that is going on, and they're telling him that, yo, this is a massive blunder. The daimyos, the lords, those people who deal with the politics of the Leafs are not going to be quite happy with everything that they have seen take place. Shikamaru is now barraged by Sarada and Sumire, who are trying to wonder about what happened to Boruto's interrogation, and Shikamaru simply says that they ran. But now we have almost like a SOS message from the Land of Wind in the village of Sand. And we have Kankuro who ends up talking to Shikamaru, and he's like, yo, it's been a while. Sorry for calling you all of a sudden. But he's like, Gaara was defeated, and so was my son-in-law, Shinki, too. And Shikamaru's like, yo, what's going on? And then he says that Shinki has the symptoms of the tree, which means that Shikamaru was already starting to relay information to other villages about everything that is going on, but Kankuro is now asking for the assistance of the Leaf for their strength, which will now mean that we will have a squad of Leaf Ninja who will end up going to the Land of Wind. Almost like the arc where we had Naruto go and save Gaara, with Sakura who pulled up too, and Kakashi, and that arc was fire. And this is what we may start to see with potentially Sarada, Sumire, and maybe even Kawaki, who is sent out to go and fight at the Land of Wind. This arc is going to be quite interesting because it would mean a lot for ninjas. Is Kawaki going to accept this? Is Kawaki a shinobi in the timeskip? Is he fighting and going along with missions? That's going to be quite intriguing to see. But the final page is, have you awakened? How are you feeling? Ryu. And Ryu is his name, and it basically is a play on particle. And we know who deals with particles. He can literally move particles with his ability. And thus we know that this is Shinki. Like I've said, video after video, he is the newest member of the Shinju. And yeah, this is where the chapter ends. This chapter is a setup chapter, beginning of a new arc with everything that we are seeing take place. I am so excited to the next 3 chapters to come out when we do end up going to the Land of Wind in the Village of the Sands. What does this mean? Does this mean that the Shinju are also going to be going to the other villages? So potentially we could be seeing something cool with us traveling to the other villages, more lore building. Everything is fire. This chapter is not a 10 out of 10, but it does everything right that it is supposed to do for a setup chapter to begin a chapter. So this chapter is a 8.5 to me. The characterizations, everything we learn about the various characters in the series is perfect. So let me know what you rate this chapter in the comment section below. It's been your boy, Dynasty in the building, and I'm out, bruh.